Alright gang, welcome back to our vintage survival, and it is now November, and we're going to start off with doing a couple contracts. And as it turns out, I made a mistake and was only filling up the actual sprayer itself and not the extra tank, so we are able to hold a lot more than I actually thought. So that's good, right? A little bit of a mistake, but it's not that big of a mistake for us. Just spend a little bit of extra on gas, I guess, on that one trip. Otherwise, not that big of a deal. So we've got a bunch of fertilizer in here. We're going to be fertilizing these fields down here. They're going to produce a little bit of money for us. Now, the reason why we're going to go ahead and start and do a fertilizing contract right off the bat here is because our corn field is actually ready to harvest. And as you know, if we want to harvest that, we have got to spend some money and buy a header for a corn harvest. There is one out there that I found. It's well, I was going to say it's pretty cheap, but it's not in the case what we're currently dealing with. But overall, it is relatively a cheap header. Now, it's not a very big width, so it's going to take us a while to harvest it, but that's okay. But it's about $5,500 as it currently stands. We do not have that. We're going to have to do both these contracts, which should get us closer to the $4,500 range. So we're still not quite there. We're going to have to sell the barley that we had that we were potentially going to save. We're going to have to do all of that. Need that full width here if we're going to be doing this. So we're going to see if we can make enough money today to try to get that header so we can harvest that corn. If we can't, we're going to be dealing with some withering on that cornfield, which is not ideal, right? Not ideal at all. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. It's a nice sunny day here in November on Szpakowo, I think is exactly how it's pronounced. I'm probably still butchering that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. Do we have to go around this tree? I guess we do. I guess it's not even a tree, it's a telephone pole. The more I see the map, the more I continue to like it. I've mentioned that already, that I really liked what I had saw so far. This is an area we have yet to be in. This looks like it's the lumber mill section over there to the left. I don't think I've seen a spot on this map that I haven't liked yet. Which is something, because I normally have something I don't like on every map. Almost. This sprayer is fantastic. I love it. And I love the fact that we are able to hold more than I actually expected. Because that's going to help us a lot when it comes to contracts as far as spraying goes. Now, what I would ideally like to do is I would like to get an actual solid fertilizer spreader here relatively soon. That'll probably be the next thing we buy after we buy this header. And as a matter of fact, if we buy the header, we might just buy it, utilize it, and then sell it. Sell it back immediately because we don't really have a planter right now. We can buy one, certainly, but if we are to buy one, I probably would get a bigger header, too, right? Because the header we're going to be buying, like I said, is very small. But we have to obviously have to kind of cope or you know, associate anything we buy with older than 1999, right? Has to be older than 1999. Used market today. There's something great out there. We're not going to be able to buy it, unfortunately. It's just it's out of our price range right now, and we're not going to make enough money to get there, even if we were to sell the corn harvest outright, which we're probably going to have to do anyway. Well, at least some of it we're going to have to sell outright. Some of it we can keep and just hold into the trailer like we were doing with the barley, right? Let's shrink this down. We don't need that full width. And that specific thing is this Volvo F-Series. This came out, I believe, in '93. So it's absolutely within our realm to buy it. It's 30 grand, which is a pretty big discount, honestly. It's 55% off what the average normal price would be, or the new price, I should say, would be. So that's pretty good, right? But, yeah, we're just not going to have enough money to get there today, unfortunately. All right, that is done, so let's fold this up. The other field we're doing is literally right across the street. Actually, I don't even need to fold it up. There's enough room over there. I was going to fold it up because I thought, well, there might not be enough room for us to get over there because I saw a bunch of this tree line and everything, but I missed this big open area here. Now, if you just happen to stumble across this, the rules on this series are relatively simple. It's anything that I purchase has to be or anything that I utilize has to be from 1999 or older. So it's all vintage stuff, at least 25 years old at a minimum. I'm not allowed to use steering assist of any sort because most things I would think in the 90s didn't have any kind of GPS at that point, unless it was the late 90s, like maybe 99 might have had some stuff, but it would have been very basic. The technology would not have really been there. So I cannot utilize steering assist of any sort. I am allowed to use workers, and I understand that they're going to be utilizing that steering assist to figure out how they go, but we can just use our imagination there a bit that I hired somebody in the town to help me, because I'm not doing it, so it doesn't really matter. So we've got that. Really our goals here specifically are to try to purchase a bunch of land. We want to own a lot of different fields. I didn't really specifically set a set number, but I mean, somewhere between 50 and 100 would be really ideal for me. I would love to get to 100, but it just depends. I also want our bankroll, our bank account, to have somewhere between the $250,000 to $500,000 range of money. And we want to make sure that we have a good variety of equipment on the farm as well. So not really a challenge per se, but it is a, a fun little playthrough with some restrictions on what can and cannot be done. Haven't done one of these, a vintage survival of any sort, and I wanted to take part in that, so I've been wanting to do it for a while, as a matter of fact. But it just wasn't working out. I wanted to actually do an FS22, but FS25 came out before I was able to do so. So it's very limited right now with what can be utilized as far as vintage stuff in FS25. There's not a lot out there. Certainly, I shouldn't say that. The solid fertilizer spreaders, there's tons of things out there. But other things, there's not so much. There's a decent amount now, I would say, of tractors as well. But other things, there is very little. It's very hard to find. So that's really where, if you want to say, challenge comes into play. But as I mentioned, I'm not really considering this a challenge. This is more just I want to play through and give myself some restrictions and make it a little difficult on myself. And I want to utilize all old equipment because I'm very much a big fan, a big proponent to old used equipment and well, just old equipment in general from the 90s and things like that. So I have no idea where I've missed a spot. It says I've missed something, but to me, it looks like I've hit pretty much everything here. I guess it's that section I started in over here. Okay. All right. Sometimes you just have to zoom out really far and you can figure out where you've been and where you haven't been, right? All right, we are done, so we can go ahead and fold this up. It's going to take a minute to fold up. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and collect these. Anything else out here for us? There's some harvesting contracts. Looks like there's a corn one, so maybe if we get that header, we could attempt that. That's kind of a big field, though. There is a regular harvesting for soybeans, actually. I think we're going to pick that up. $9,622. I think we're going to pick that up. But before we do that, we need to do the second application of fertilizer on the field that we purchased. Actually, you know what? We might not have to. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Because that was grass before, wasn't it? So I don't think we're going to have to. Yep, we don't. This one could use a little bit. We could do a little splash and dash, as I like to call it there, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. That's a pretty decent header, but again, we're not. It's not really useful, I don't think, for this series. These fields are very skinny, so I don't really think we need that big of a header. And I believe that is too new for us too. It maybe not be. I don't know. I have to do a lot of research whenever I buy something to make sure what I'm purchasing is not, too new. Speaking of that, in the last episode, I pulled out the chainsaw that I had purchased, and I realized that chainsaw might have been a little bit too new. I was lucky enough to go out to ModHub, and I did find one that's older. I think it's from the 80s. I'm almost positive it is. Actually, here, I'll just pull off to the side. I'll show it to you really quick. So I got rid of the other one, and I've got this one as the 026. I'm almost positive the steel 026 is from the 80s. Looks much older. I mean, like I said, chainsaws really haven't changed all that much. I mean, they're basically the same technology they were using from the 80s. So it looks very similar to what we had before, but that one is, I'm almost positive, I looked it up, and I'm almost positive it said the 80s. It might have been 90s, but it was old enough to be able to accommodate what we're doing here, right? So fix that little minor issue. Because while it's a chainsaw, it probably doesn't make that big of a difference, right? It's not, you know, the equipment that we're utilizing for tractors and things like that. I still wanted to try to keep it true to what I said, right? And make sure everything's from 1999 or older, even from a chainsaw perspective. So I'm happy we were able to find that and accomplish that. That certainly helps. So let's head back, and we'll probably go sell the barley, and then we'll see. The header I wanted to get, let me show you the header I want to get here. I think it'll work. I'm actually not positive that it will work, but I think it will. It's this 4-rows cutter from Lizard here. That's definitely an old header. It's definitely from the 80s. Has to be. It's a Lizard, so I can't really look it up, but to me, that looks and appears from the 80s of the time. I've seen some that are like that, so we're going to say it's from the 80s, especially since it looks like it's from the 80s. Look at this harvester here. Looks like a New Holland, but I don't think it is. What is this? It's a Lizard. I wish we had that. Actually, you know what? There might have been one that came out. I think it's a New Holland that came out just like that recently. Anyway, I'll head back to the farm. I'll meet you there. All right, let's just do a little splash and dash over here. We might waste a little fertilizer, but I'm okay with it. I just want to make sure that this field is you know, really giving us a high yield because we need it. We were not able to roll it, so we weren't able to put any lime or anything. I think we turned lime off, but we weren't able to roll it or anything like that, so we just want to make sure that we're able to get as much money as we can out of it because we need it. We need it. I want to keep expanding. I did not realize that those were actually there. I thought that was just kind of a I thought that was just kind of like a for looks situation. I didn't think those were actually true poles. I knew the telephone poles were, but I didn't know those were. Interesting. Alright. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough. Do a quick auto save here. Just in case the game crashes on me. Now, I have a bunch of pallets of herbicide over here, as you can tell, and that's because I realized that this thing could hold more than what we thought, right? So I'm going to unload that, and you've got to unload 2 of them, unfortunately, is the way it works. So they're kind of all over the place. We'll have to clean that up. Once we start utilizing more of this, though, it'll be fine. You know, they'll get removed. It's not a big deal. They're just kind of in the way for the time being. Right, so let's go ahead and back this up. And then I'm going to go sell the barley. I don't know for sure if that's going to get us to where... Whoop, I did the wrong thing again. I don't know for sure if that's going to get us to where we need to be. What I mean by that is I'm not sure if that's actually going to get us the amount we need to buy the header. I think it'll be close. But either way, we need to sell this barley because we're going to need the trailer for the corn. Okay, so where should we be taking the barley here? 958. Isn't that where we went the first time? It is. Okay. So, let's head that way. I will see you when we're done, and hopefully, let's fingers crossed we make enough money to get us the header. right, we made it back, gang. We have literally just enough. I think we're going to have $19, I think, left over. Yep, $19 left over. Let's go ahead and buy it. I'm going to do the Massey Ferguson Red if I can find it. Just because it matches the harvester we currently have. Oh. If I paint it, we don't have enough money. Okay, never mind. I did not realize it cost us money to paint it, so we'll just stick with the yellow there, or the orange, or whatever that is. So let's jump into the harvester here. I'll need to drop the header off. For the time being, I think I'm just going to set it over here by the trees. And by our little tent. Eventually, I'd like to upgrade our tent as well and find some kind of other house for us to live in of some sort. Just living in the tent is going to get old soon and smelly, and now it's going to get into the cold months. Although if I'm tenting, I would actually rather be in a tent in the winter months than in the summer months. I'm one of those weirdos that enjoys the cold. I do not like the heat. So in the middle of the summer, that tent would be absolutely unbearable for me. I'd much rather be cold and put more layers on or more blankets or whatever than be hot. You can only take off so much, right? So let's head up to the shop here, and then we'll head over and we'll get started on doing the harvest of the field there. I'm trying to remember exactly where I need to go here for the shop. It's right past this little inlet here, I think. Yeah, that's the inlet with, or the inlet, inlet. I mean, I guess you'd call it an inlet. The track there, that's where we would go before. We're going to go up that as well once we pick this up. Yeah, this is it. All right, cool. Let's get going. All right, we are nearly done, gang. The yield is not as good as I had expected or hoped. And this machine is very, very loud, so hopefully you can hear me. Seem to be having issues switching gears as well with it for whatever reason, but that's all right. Well, at least we're getting it done, right? At least it worked, and at least we're getting it done. I did have a slight bit of concern that maybe the header wouldn't work with this one, but it's worked fine, no problem at all, so that's a good thing. And we were able to fit everything in the actual harvester itself, which I also was not expecting, so I guess, well, we needed to really to be able to buy the header here, but I guess if we didn't have to buy the header, we really didn't need to sell the barley, but that's all right. So we'll take this back. Now, corn. I'm not exactly sure when it's best to sell corn, so we need to take a look at that as well. It's not going to be November, I can almost guarantee you that, but we don't really have anywhere to store it besides our trailer, so it's either we're going to keep it in the trailer for the time being, but if we keep it in the trailer, what that does mean is we're not going to be able to do any harvesting contracts of any sort until we sell it, right? And we saw that one harvesting contract out there earlier that looked really good, so I'm kind of half tempted to do that, if that makes sense. And there's a... I was gonna say we're gonna sell the header, but I might want to keep it just on the premise if there's any kind of a harvesting contract that comes along for corn, sunflowers, whatever. That way we can do it, as long as it's not too large of a contract, of course. All right, while that's happening, let's take a look and see corn. Yeah, it's the worst possible time right now. It's not really that bad overall, no matter what, but ideally you'd like to keep it you know, for another month or two. A month or two, it spikes drastically. But that is such a enticing harvesting field right there for almost $10,000. It's hard to pass that up. You know what I mean? There's a plowing one. That's too big for our little plow, I think. At least at current. I don't think our little plow is a smart investment there. There is a fertilizing contract here. Not a ton of money. Then cultivating, bale wrapping, stuff we don't have. Now there's 2 fertilizing contracts. Another one just popped up. This one's really close to us. That one might be worth doing because it's so close. What do we do? What do we do? I'm still thinking we do that harvesting contract, though. It might take us a long time to do it because it is a large contract. As a matter of fact, let's go look at it. 114. Let's go look at field 114. We'll just jump to 114 and take a look. Yeah, though this is a very large field. This is one of the biggest fields on the map. Ooh. This one might actually not be worth it now that I'm seeing it. That is a large field. Yeah, that would take us a long time to do. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just not sure we would actually be able to get that done in a reasonable time, right? It would probably take us a long time to get that done. So I guess the other option we can look at is one of those other contracts we saw, the fertilizing or whatever. I mean, really what we need to try to do is find some kind of a silo that can be utilized that is absolutely looks like it's from the 80s or 90s, right? It can't be any of these new ones. An example of that. Let me get in here. Like, I can't, like, maybe these would be okay. Oh, maybe that, I don't know. Or that, maybe one of those would be okay, but like this, clearly that's not from the 80s or 90s, right? We can't utilize something like that. Those are obviously too new. If that makes sense. We could try this approach, which is a mod where you can kind of hook it up to any building of any sort that you want, and it'll do the effect of the silo for you. But it's super unrealistic. Not that really this series is too concerned about it being unrealistic or not, but I mean that's very, very unrealistic, right? So those could be a little expensive, but those might be something I would argue is from the 90s. What else we got? I think these look a little bit too new as well. I mean, maybe not. Maybe these would be okay. We don't have the money for it, but maybe those would be okay. Ooh, here we go. This is what we're looking for. That is what we need. That, to me, looks like it's been there for a long time. It's old. Kind of falling apart a little bit. That, I feel like, fits in really well. However, it is 10 grand. We do not have 10 grand. We're not going to have 10 grand for a while. I think everything else is probably a no. So that's probably going to be the one we're going to be aiming for this series. 25,000 liters as well. I think that's realistic. It's just kind of storing them underground pretty much is what it looks like. Or in the ground, I guess on the ground. The other option we could get is just go, I mean, talking super old-fashioned where we put down a shed that has a door and climate-controlled kind of thing where we just drop the stuff on the ground, similar to what Clarkson does on Clarkson's farm, right? He just kind of drops all the stuff into a big shed on the ground and then picks it up with a bucket, right? We could try that as well, I guess. But both of those are going to cost money that we currently do not have. We could sell the header, as I mentioned. How much would we get for the header if we sold it back? We'd almost get everything that we spent on it. Maybe it is smart for us to go ahead and just sell it and get that money back. I'm going to keep it for right now. Let's do one of those fertilizing contracts that were out there. Where do I want to put this at? That's the better question. I guess we'll just put it over here on the side. So I really don't know where to put these for time being, so I guess we'll just put it over here. All right. So let's jump into the Volvo here. I'm gonna hold on to the corn for one episode. There's not much corn there, but I just think it's a smarter thing for us to do is just to wait 1 month before selling it. We can hold off on some of the things we need for 1 more month, I think. And doing this other contract here should, I'm using air quotes here that you can't see, it should allow us to have enough money to, you know, any kind of fees we would incur overnight. We don't have a loan or anything like that, so it shouldn't be anything major, but any kind of fees or anything we might incur, it should be covered with this contract that we're going to do. So, let's figure out which one we're going to do. I feel like we do the one that's really close to us. It's $771. It's not a ton of money, but... Alright, let's go do that one. I'll pull the map up, see where I'm going here. I guess it's actually behind. Yeah, I guess it's behind. No, it's not. Never mind. It's on that same area, so we can go up the normal way we do. Okay. Let's go over there. Getting first person here. It's hard to see with those trees sometimes. It should be this guy right in front of us, yeah? Yeah, okay. This won't take too long. It's a decent-sized field, actually, for where it is. But it won't take that bad. It won't take that long, excuse me. Might have to change the width here. Nope, we're good. Sweet. Yeah, this won't take long at all to do this. Now we are going to start running out of liquid fertilizer here soon. As you can see, we've got, you know, we've got decent amounts still, but if we keep doing all these contracts with it, we're going to run out quickly. This is probably going to get us down to 1,000, maybe a little bit less than that by the time we're done with it. I need to get a solid fertilizer spreader. I didn't put a new mod on that I really like, that I want to get. It allows us to kind of pull a fertilizer, or you can attach it to the back of the tractor, whichever way you want to do it. But then you can actually put a trailer, like a flatbed trailer, behind it. And then I could basically, you know, stack up some pallets or bags of fertilizer on that and keep going, right? I wouldn't have to go and fill back up multiple times. I could just utilize it directly from the trailer to refill it without having to go all the way to the shop or to the farm yard or whatever. Pretty convenient. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one hopefully soon. And it fits within the range of what we were talking about, right? It's something. It's definitely from. I think it's from the '80s, honestly. It looks too old for the '90s, so it has to be from the '80s, in my opinion. It's a lizard mod. I tried to find it online, and I found something that looks similar. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's similar. So, and that was from the '80s. So this should be perfectly fine. So let me show you what I'm talking about really quick. Now that we finished that. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going the wrong way. Fertilizer spreaders. It's this right here. So you can get one that just hooks up to the back for $3 grand, which is fine, and it has the ability to put the trailer on the back. And then there's one where you can actually pull it with wheels. I kind of want the one with wheels. It only has 600 liters, so it's not like a huge amount, but having the trailer, like I said, being able to hook the trailer to the back, and then we could just constantly be filling it back up. It's pretty neat, pretty nifty, right? So you do have the ability to increase it for $2,000 more. Pretty expensive. I think for the time being, we'd probably just accept this one and then maybe modify it later on, potentially. Now, I saw somebody say something to me in the comments, I think, of the very first video of this one. There's not a repair point or a point where you can go and sell your stuff without just selling it out of the menu, which I thought was kind of weird. I didn't really look into it, if I'm honest with you. So I don't know how true that is. I'm assuming it is true based off of that comment, but I haven't really looked into it. So I'm gonna, if that's the case, we're gonna have to figure something out. Because there's gonna be at some point we're gonna want to sell something. Like I said, we were thinking about selling the harvester header for the corn and the sunflowers, right? And we decided to hold off for a little bit. But we're gonna have to figure out something. We can't have that happen. All right, sweet. That gets us up to 790. A little more comfortable spot, and we're going to leave the episode at this point. Gang, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe if you're new. All that stuff helps me out a ton. Can't wait to see where we continue to go with this series. I'm having a lot of fun. Next month, we probably are going to have to sell the corn unless we see some really good contracts in December, but I would suspect there's not going to be many. So we'll see what we get into. Hope you come back. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.